Mentions of El Dorado come from an indigenous people who inhabited the region of present-day Colombia. The leader of the tribe, involved in rituals of sun worship, was described as a man who covered himself with a fine layer of gold dust, immersed in a sacred lake as part of a religious ceremony. This generated a misunderstanding that was crucial to the future of the legend. The Spanish interpreted the ritual as proof that the city of El Dorado was truly full of riches beyond imagination, gold, and wonders. This city was known as El Dorado. The first reference to the golden city of El Dorado dates back to the accounts of the Spanish conquistadors. During their expeditions, they heard stories of a distant kingdom where the local ruler covered himself in gold as a symbol of power. This king, known as El Dorado, meaning smelly one, became the central figure who fueled the legend for centuries. Mentions of El Dorado come from an indigenous people who inhabited the region of present-day Colombia. The leader of the tribe, involved in rituals of sun worship, was described as a man who covered himself with a fine layer of gold dust, immersed in a sacred lake as part of a religious ceremony. This generated a misunderstanding that was crucial to the future of the legend. The Spanish interpreted the ritual as proof that the city of El Dorado was truly full of riches beyond imagination, gold, and wonders. This city was known as El Dorado. The first great expedition, the failure of Gonzalo Pizarro. The legend of El Dorado quickly spread, and in 1541, one of the greatest names in the history of the Spanish conquest, Gonzalo Pizarro, set out in search of the Golden City. Pizarro, who had been one of those responsible for the fall of the Inca Empire, was determined to conquer El Dorado and its immense wealth. With an army of more than 200 men, Pizarro set out for the wild lands of present-day Ecuador and Peru. However, what followed was a disaster. The conquistadors faced unthinkable hardships, tropical diseases, hunger, dehydration, and violent encounters with indigenous tribes who opposed the invasion. Pizarro's expedition turned into a true odyssey, marked by violence and despair. His men began to die one by one, and Pizarro himself ended up abandoning the search. The legend of El Dorado, however, did not die with this failed expedition. It simply transformed into something more mysterious, but distant. Orellana's persistence and the consequences of the dream. Although Pizarro's expedition failed, the obsession with the search for El Dorado continued to influence the decisions of many explorers. One of the most notable was Francisco de Orellana, one of the first Spaniards to explore the Amazon basin. Orellana had joined Gonzalo Pizarro's expedition, but when he realized that there was no hope of finding El Dorado, he decided to follow a new path. In 1541, he led a journey up the Amazon River, believing that the region could hold the key to reaching the Golden City. Along the way, Orellana and his men faced indigenous attacks, fatal diseases, and extreme hardships, but he managed to complete the crossing of the Amazon River. Although he never found El Dorado, Orellana became the first European to document the vast Amazon basin, an impressive feat for the time. His name and the idea that El Dorado could be somewhere beyond the jungles of the Amazon became even stronger. The immortal legacy of El Dorado. Although El Dorado was never found, the legend lived on in popular culture and continued to inspire generations of explorers. Over the centuries, the myth evolved, taking on new versions and meanings. For many, El Dorado symbolized not only material wealth, but also the insatiable search for perfection and transcendence. The impact of the legend was immense, shaping the West's perception of the New World. The desire to discover El Dorado's gold was a major motivation for colonial invasions and policies of unbridled exploitation of indigenous lands. Throughout history, El Dorado has also become a symbol of the promises of easy wealth and the illusions that can blind humanity. Today, the legend of El Dorado is treated more as a metaphor than a real quest. It represents the human spirit of exploration, ambition, and the desire to achieve something great, even if it's beyond our reach. But perhaps the greatest treasure the conquistadors found was knowledge about the vast and mysterious lands of the American continent. Hey guys, did you like the video? Leave a comment. It makes all the difference for the channel and helps Google spread the content to more people. Oh, and don't forget to leave a like. There's a lot more great content coming. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next video.